Russia's annexation of Crimea, occupation of certain areas of the Donetsk and Luhansk regions in 2014, and a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022 are a direct violation of the second article of the United Nations Charter. By its actions, Moscow voluntarily and consciously went beyond the international legal framework. In September 2022, the Russian Federation exacerbated its own isolation by announcing the annexation of Ukrainian territories occupied by the Russian army.
Everything that Russia did after 2014, that is the so-called annexation of Crimea, the so-called annexation of certain regions of the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, Kherson, Zaporizhia, all this has no legal consequences. That is, from the point of view of international law, Ukraine exists within the borders of 1991. Therefore, we do not need to receive anything from Russia, any assurances or anything else. It is enough for it to simply leave these territories and, as they say, for good, give them to Ukraine.
At the moment, the only effective strategy is the occupation of the territories occupied by Russia, experts say. After all, the Federation is ignoring the calls of the UN General Assembly and other international organizations to withdraw troops from Ukraine.
Ukraine has no other option than to restore its territorial integrity in self-defense, in order to repel the aggression of a neighboring state. The only mechanism that could fully help in this situation is the UN Security Council, but considering the veto of the Russian Federation, it is clear that all actions that would be aimed at restoring the territorial integrity of Ukraine and the triumph of international law are blocked by the Russian Federation.
However, even after the Ukrainian armed forces entered the borders in 1991, there is a risk of revanchism sentiments emerging in the Russian Federation itself, analysts warn. Physical deoccupation is not enough to restore world order. After the fall of Putin's dictatorship, the new Russian government must give up these territories. Then the war can be considered over.
Is it possible for Ukraine and Russia to have a similar story with this? In the long term, yes, but it is only possible if the political regime in the Russian Federation changes to a regime that will obviously admit its guilt before Ukraine regarding the outbreak of the war, withdraw all its troops from our territories and recognize our borders at the level of 1991, and will have no claims to returning these territories again.
Restoring the territorial integrity of Ukraine and peace in the region is a priority task not only for Kyiv. International partners say they are ready to help as much as needed.
On Ukraine, the immediate priority is peace, but a just peace. A just peace. United Nations General Assembly is the most important platform to generate international momentum to advance in the peace efforts. We support Ukraine in front of the military aggression, and we work for a just peace. And here is the moment to do it. We want to continue working with Ukraine to ensure a broad support for its peace formula from as many United Nations members as possible.
The fifth point of President Zelensky's peace formula involves not only the restoration of the territorial integrity of Ukraine, but also the renewal of international law without compromise with the aggressor. The UN Charter cannot act selectively and at will, the Ukrainian head of the state said in the address to the G7 summit participants. Reported by Roman Smolar, Larisa Zubenko, UA TV News.